Hey friends, this is Amanda Nardozzi. Thanks for hopping into my little den here. We're keeping it warm, we're keeping it cozy. I'm joined here today by Milo, the corgi, while I read and channel for you all today. So I previously did a reading channeling Archangel Raphael. Today's reading is going to be Archangel Orion. Now, a little bit about Orion if you haven't heard of him before. So my studies from Archangel Orion have been from Kyle Gray. He's like my master teacher for angels. And Archangel Orion, when I connect with him, typically he's connected with like dreams, manifestation, the stars. When I connect with him, I actually see dinosaurs. I see dinosaurs. So anything, he kind of rules like the outer galaxies, like anything alien, anything out there, like aliens, the galactic beings, star beings, things like that. That for whatever reason that seems to be Archangel Orion's energy, and that's like when you channel Archangel Orion, when you're trying to connect with like starseed roots, when you're trying to connect with energy of dinosaurs. I know that when I connect with energy of dragons, sometimes there is a feeling of Archangel Orion guiding that and kind of being the messenger for that. So there's more, obviously, on Archangel Orion if you wanted to go search things through Google. But at the present moment, I usually connect with him to talk about dreams. So I'm going to sit with Archangel Orion's energy. We're going to go through a meditation, and then we will channel him to see what types of messages he has for you today. So that being said, I want you to, wherever you're at, find a nice quiet space where you can just be with yourself and be with your energy so you can sense it very clearly. I want you to take a deep breath. And it doesn't matter. I usually recommend it's through your nose and then out your mouth. It can be through your nose and out your nose, whatever's most comfortable for you. And then allow your eyes, if you want to keep them open, and focus on a drishti, like a focal point, so that way you can focus on the energy within. You can do that. You can also close your eyes if you so feel called to do. I like to close my eyes during my meditations, so that's what I'm going to do. Follow your breath. Make sure that you're dragging your breath in deep into your body, and then just pull it out nice and slow for a few seconds. Try to make these breaths as long as you can. And then I want you to do a body scan from head to toe. Start with the crown of your head, work your way down, and take notice of anywhere in your energy that feels tight. Anything that feels stuck. If you feel there's an energy, like a clouded energy, maybe you're storing certain things in your body and certain parts of your body, other people's energies. And it doesn't have to make sense. If you focus on your neck, your jaw, your shoulders, and you feel the energy of something that someone had said to you the other day that's still sitting with you, breathe into that space, breathe into that tightness, that tenseness, that energy, and then breathe out, exhale, and then just let it wash away through your body, out your hands, out your feet, back into the ground. And I want you to do this for all those spaces in your body where you feel that. Take all of the time you need for this part of the meditation. Pause the video if you need. The stomach is often an area where we hold a lot of anxieties and tensions. Spend all of the time that you need on these areas and focus the breath. Draw it in and out nice and slow. And then once you get to your toes, I want you to imagine from the calves of your legs going down through your toes, just imagine roots coming out and rooting into the earth, and then digging deeper and deeper and deeper down to the core of the earth to help us ground, to help us connect with heaven, but also stay firmly in our present reality. Imagine a light shining very bright around your heart space. And then I want you to imagine this light shining up, going through the crown of your head, straight into heaven. This beam of light also going straight through your lower chakras, down to the base of your spine and into the core of the earth. Imagine that this light that beams up to heaven is connecting with all of these other lights. And the brighter this light shines, the more of these other spheres of light are attracted to it. And one of those spheres of light has wings, comes to you in a golden light, and it has this starry appearance. This energy could look like anything to you, but from what I see, I always imagine Archangel Orion with stars around his energetic body. You can imagine whatever form this light takes coming to you, meeting with your energy. Greet it, tell it thank you for helping us guide, thank you for guiding us, Archangel Orion. Thank you for telling us the information that we need to hear right now. So this is where the meditation ends and I start channeling. So while you're in this zone, while you're nice and relaxed, I'm going to start. You can pause this and stay in the meditation as long as you need to feel connected. But this is where I will start channeling. So Archangel Orion is showing me a book. And you're opening it up and you have this pencil. You're taking notes. So something that you're studying, something closely related to your dreams, it's a skill. He says it's a skill. It's a skill that you're working on. It's a skill that you're studying. This could be in the form of the study of the stars with astrology. This could quite literally be studying the stars. For a lot of you, I'm getting pictures of aliens. So you could be studying other star beings, other aliens. I'm not very well versed in this, but I'm getting like Palladian and like some of those other types of energies too. Blue creatures. I'm seeing blue creatures, whatever they are called. Again, you'll have to forgive me because I don't know the direct terminology, but if you're studying this, then you would know what these are. And it's almost like he's guiding you in studying those things. He's encouraging you to look further because there's not too many resources out there in relation to them, but it's almost like I just heard there's a whole bunch. I'm saying there's not too many resources, but Archangel Orion's like, no, there's a whole bunch. You just have to keep looking. You have to dive deeper. And it's almost like this application that needs to happen. So studying history and studying, like, for example, studying the dinosaurs or studying other people's encounters of potential alien life forms and like on here on Earth would be, it's like an interesting subject. I'm also hearing it's not quite what I'm after, but I'm using it for application purposes. So studying these things can help broaden your awareness and help open that door if you don't know where to start. Going into oddities like that and listening to other people's normal accounts of it can help open up the energy paths to Archangel Orion helping you a little bit more and guiding you towards the resources that you need in order to understand the vibrations that these things bring on the other side. Just hearing like these intergalactic vibrations, right? So let me tune in a little bit more and see what other messages there are in relation to this studying. Okay, I'm getting like Atlantean, like they're showing me some type of water thing. Something about your ancestors and the immigrations. So showing me the Statue of Liberty. You don't have to be in the U.S., but they're showing me like that's like a sign for me for like immigration, because that was like the Statue of Liberty being like Ellis Island is where people would go in order to enter America. So in a certain time period, and that it might not be that specific immigration for you, but looking back, it's almost like you're looking back in your ancestry line. Some of you could actually be studying your ancestors or like trying to trace genealogy. But if that's not the case, then I do feel like a lot of you are feeling like the effects of like ancestor energy and trying to push you towards like where you need to go. It's almost like you're tracing your roots back to something that is connected with these alien things. And I don't know if it's like a physical connection or if it's more of like a spiritual connection that has been carried down by your ancestors, like your ancestors have been guided by these alien beings too, or like these other star beings. Like whoever is listening to this is very closely connected with Archangel Orion, and Archangel Orion is working closely in the energy when you are studying these things. Okay, so I asked Archangel Orion, I said, well, what are the messages pertaining to their dreams? And I'm hearing something about a rocket launcher. Like, I actually see a rocket launching into space. So some of you are quite, it's interesting, like the types of imagery that he uses. It's almost like he's saying, like, it's almost like you're launching, like taking that energy, giving yourself enough fuel to launch yourself full on into space, whatever it is that you want to do. That's the way that you're going to want to launch yourself into your dreams, or that's the energy that's going to help propel you further on your dreamscape. So when it comes to trying to achieve the things that you want, it's almost like the energy that would most benefit you now is feeding yourself enough fuel. I'm actually seeing a lot of fruits and vegetables too. Like I'm seeing healthy eating habits. So that is one of the things that is helping fuel your engine. Quite literally, like I don't think the rocket is just the body, it's other things too, but specifically it's a lot of healthy food that you could be switching to help give yourself a lot of energy and a lot of spunk to go after the things that you want and to like start taking action on them if you haven't already. But it's almost like if you're in your dreams, you're in like the early stages and you're like, I need to get the energy to do it. I feel tired, I feel winded, and I want to be able to sustain the life that I'm trying to create. So there's this feeling of trying to look at what other areas of your life you can improve to help gain this energy. You're like, okay, well, I'm obviously not going to give up what I'm doing. And there's a slight fear here that you won't have the energy to sustain your dreams. So it's like, okay, well, I need to find other solutions. And I see you getting a lot of energy from that. And also they're saying like going to the gym or working out for some of you, like spirits like give your best guess on this one, because I can't help but feel like it's a really odd thing, like off the wall thing that I wouldn't even think of offering as like usually people say gym or yoga when it comes to physical fitness, but I feel like it's something off the wall, like kung fu or capoeira or something strange or something that I don't know. It's not strange because I mean those are things that I want to learn, but it's almost like it's not like a typical form of exercise, or it's something that people don't typically do to get their exercise. So like for example, like they're giving me something that's like, okay, yes, walking would be a good thing, but like if you are pacing your room and listening to music for exercise, that's a slightly different exercise. It is walking, but it's almost like that's the type of oddity that we're working with here of like it's something. That's why spirits like give your best guess because you're not gonna 100% get this, but they're telling me that I wasn't gonna 100% get whatever this physical activity was, like maybe Pilates or something. It's things that I don't typically say. So that is helping fuel your energy, whatever this odd physical practice is that's helping you like get your energy going. Surrounding yourself with, oh, I'm sorry, Milo, I like startled him. Surrounding yourself with positive people, like giving yourself, like consuming the right things is go, and not physically, like yes, physically we talked about that, but consuming the right things in terms of media. I'm hearing like social attention. It's like where you're putting your attention. So you don't necessarily have to cut certain people or certain things out of your life. Like if you're somebody who enjoys scrolling on Instagram and Facebook in moderation, or YouTube or whatever, if you're somebody like scrolling on social media and that's something that, oh my gosh, like, well, social media is a part of my life, like you don't have to completely cut it out. Like I'm not saying remove yourself from the world, but it's almost like spirit is saying, you know, you're watching, it's almost like he's literally pointing to this and saying like directing your attention or investing your energy towards, bless you, you're directing your energy and your attention towards other things. Like you're putting, it's almost like Archangel Orion's like you're putting less towards that, like you're veering away from that a little bit, But that's a good thing because that's going to help. It's almost like something, it kind of reminds me of somebody who's tired and wants to sit down and like rest, so they're scrolling on their phone, but that's not actually filling up their soul and giving them the fun that they need. Like, it's not giving them that type of stimulation that strokes their creativity and their inspiration. And it's almost like, okay, it's something to do, and yes, I could find a few laughs and be entertained and learn something new, but it's not. It's like, there are things that might fill up your passions a little bit more. And it's not saying that, again, you have to completely cut those things out, but it's almost like Archangel Orion saying, like, moving, like, it's like turning your attention more towards those things that are replenishing for your soul. And again, when I say replenishing for the soul, I know some of you are jumping to, oh, I need to take a hot bath. I need to put some bath bombs in there. I got to go out and, like, sit under a tree for hours. No, that's not what I'm saying. But what is your joy? What is your joy? For me, sometimes my joy is opening up my big bin of dirt for this jungle of houseplants that I have and quite literally just sinking my hands up to my elbows. And that is my replenishing exercise. It's fun. It's dirty. I'm such a little kid when I do it. I'm like, ha ha ha. For me, replenishing my soul is the huge ball pit that I got for my ferret for his birthday recently. It's shout out to Oliver. He's now 5 years old. My little albino ferret that's given me such hell over the last few years because he's a little terror, but I love him anyway. I got him a huge ball pit. And I think at one point, me and my partner just ended up just throwing balls at each other, just ridiculously. And then I even had a Nerf battle the other day. And that's the kind of stuff that gives me life. That's the kind, like, I feel like a kid again. I'm running around. I'm being so silly. I'm screaming like an idiot, like my body's malfunctioning in some way. And those are the types of things that fill up my soul. It feels silly, and they're not typically things that you would think of as, resting or replenishing, but I do find that replenishing your soul does come in the form of both rest and play, and rest and play are two different things, okay? So resting obviously being sleep, and then like taking that solitude time, whereas play being, what I just described. So finding the right avenues of play, the right avenues of rest, and making sure that you are making room for those things. I just heard like carving out time for yourself, carving out time to be solo. I know some other people in your life might have certain ideas for how you can have fun. So you might be enjoying that time with other people, but you might be more replenished if you did some things on your own. So going solo for a little bit. Archangel Orion's showing me a tower. And this tower represents a card. Usually they use oracle cards. They give oracle cards to me sometimes in my mind of decks that I already have. And this one's from the Enchanted Map deck by Colette Baron Reed. And it's the solitude card, in which case you are in your tower, in your state of period, in your state of lull, in your state of rest. And that usually does not involve anybody else. Anytime I get that card, anytime I pull that for somebody else, it is quite literally time for yourself. That is when other people in your life might be going through something, or, you might have just been like, okay, well, you know what, like, you're supporting me the best you can, but right now I need to be with my own energy. I can't be around your energy right now. And this is an energy that you would really be feeling right now of needing to pull back from others. So making sure that you're keeping those boundaries. It's almost like I feel a little bit of catering energy towards some of these other energies in your life. It's almost like you're catering a little bit to try to dodge certain things in other people or try to make them happy. And it's like, okay, well, let me give them the gift of my presence. But make sure that you're giving the gift of your presence to yourself first. It's okay to have that me time. I'm actually seeing solo movie time. So like going out to a movie theater by yourself and like having like a solo movie date. For some of you might actually be very much what's needed. Like if you enjoy, for some of you, like you might enjoy the movie theater, and that, I don't know, they're just showing me very specifically you sitting in a movie theater by yourself. You don't have to be sitting in a movie theater by yourself, but like you're not going with friends, you're not going with family or like partners or significant others, anything like that. You're just kind of sitting there and you're enjoying the movie, and it's almost like I want to indulge in the story. I want to go to this Disney movie, even though it seems completely ridiculous or something. It doesn't have to be Disney, but some childlike movie, or I want to go see this one thing. I want to care about myself enough to give myself the experiences that I've been craving. So that's the energy that I feel like we're working with here. So let me tune in a little bit more. So those are the types of fuels that you would be fueling for your rocket ship to help launch you forward in your dreams, because those things are incredibly important for moving forward. Sorry, he's like digging into he's scrubbing his nose, but it's like next to this outlet that I'm gonna move over here. This little power strip here. Not safe, boy, not safe. Let me tune in a little bit more and see what else we need to know about going towards your dreams, heading towards them, making them manifest, making them come true. Anything else, Archangel Orion, that we have to share for our collective? Making a wish. So I'm kind of sitting in the stars here because that's how Archangel Orion works. He's in the stars. And I see a shooting star. I see a shooting star, and shooting stars making a wish. So allowing yourself to dream. And I'm hearing him say your dreams have been ever so small. Allow yourself to dream bigger. Wish on a star, and then don't cling to the outcome. It's almost like when you were a kid. Like, okay, I'm getting like the image of somebody who was a kid, and you're like, I wish for a puppy. Like you see a shooting star, you're like, I wish for a puppy. It seems so ridiculous, and it's almost like when you see a shooting star now, it's like, well, I don't want to wish on something that might become true. Like if I want to be like, I don't know, famous or want to be a rock star or something, and I see a shooting star, like I'm going to try to. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I want to wish for something practical. I want to wish for something that actually has a chance of coming true. And Archangel Orion's like, ditch that. When you wish on a star, approach it with that childlike wonder. What's the first thing that comes to mind? If you just imagine a shooting star right now, I want you to close your eyes, look at this huge field of stars. Some stars are closer to you, some stars are farther, and just imagine this shooting star. What's the first thing that comes to mind? Oh, make a wish. And if you can't think of anything, then that's what you have to tune into. Is tuning into that fun, childlike, creative wonder, because that's where Spirit's going to help send you miracles. They're going to help you manifest miracles, but it's almost like Earth is our playground. We're here to learn, yes. We are here to try new things. We are here to take risks. We are here to be safe. We are here to do so many things and learn so many things and experience so many things. But one thing that Archangel Orion wants you to know is that, when you work with his energy, when you are working in the realm of manifesting your dreams, there is a certain approach that works best. You can manifest your dreams in any which way you want, but the energy that works best is that playful, opportunistic, allowing yourself to be open to possibilities, not quite seeing the way forward, like you understand the steps to take, but you don't have to see the way completely forward. It's like understanding that, let's juggle a little bit while we're on this path. Let's stop and talk to a clown, and then let's play a goofy game. Like, we're not so focused on getting to the destination that we're forgetting to enjoy the journey. Because by the time we reach our destination, we're just going to have another dream that we're going to go for. Either that, we achieve our dream, and we are like, oh my gosh, on to the next one. Or it's going to feel, I'm hearing, very lonely. So it might feel very lonely. So while solitude is important and called for in terms of your rest, make sure that you're cultivating your relationships while you are on your way to achieving your dreams. So that way you're not lonely by the time you hit your destination with no one to celebrate with you. Because I feel like some of you might be prone to that, getting so focused. I'm picking up on it. It's interesting. I can sense this energy because I am myself like this. I do feel a little bit of neurodivergent energy here with my ADHD self, I'm also very much like this of, getting so focused on something that everything else in my life drowns out. I forget to eat. There's everything else just bottom of the priority list, like all of my chores, everything. Like I may have had a list of appointments and stuff I needed to do that day, and I'm like completely, like when I get absorbed in something, everything else like goes missing from my life. And I feel like it's almost like scaling your priorities. I do feel like the scale shifts and changes a lot, which could lead to like things being out of balance. And sometimes you can't help that. That's just the way that our brains work sometimes. You need to work with yourself to develop systems in order to develop systems for yourself in order to, it doesn't have to be like strict or schedule or regimented in any way, but whatever system works for you that helps you deal with that. Because I think that, neurodivergent behaviors or tendencies don't necessarily have to inhibit us. They're actually, I was just talking with my friend about this the other day. She views her ADHD as her superpower. And I very much agree. I'm very much like, I can use this and harness it. Like, I can master this. I can take the skills that come with it and I can work with them. And that's a viewpoint that you're going to have to take if you are struggling with you know, your neurodivergence and you're like, okay, well, I want to take this to the next level. I want to take myself to the next level, but there's a concern that you can't do it. You can use that to your advantage. I just heard you are well beyond equipped to handle what's coming your way and to achieve your dreams. And Archangel Orion is urging you to, like, it's almost like your traits are very special. The things that you came here with in this world, the things that you do, how you respond to situations, how you deal with them, it's all very precious. If you don't like the way that something is done, okay, how can you work with it? How can you use it to your advantage? How can you twist it so that you are able to take those next steps without expending so much energy focusing on why me, without spending so much energy thinking, how do I get past this? I got to work in my therapy. I have to do all this personal growth stuff. Otherwise, I'm not going to be as successful as I am dreaming I am. That is not true. You can achieve all of your success even in this current state right now. It's just, you need to believe it, and you need to work with the things that you feel are limiting you. You need to work with them, because there are ways, like, we are not meant to operate the way that the world has put for us. And that's okay. The system is for everybody else. It works for them. It's fine. Now we just have to come up with our own, and we have to be brave enough to be able to come up with our own. We have to be brave enough to follow that. It's going to seem like a really wonky, off-the-wall beat, and it's not going to go with everyone else's orchestra. And that's something that, despite everyone else's judgment, we're going to have to learn to be okay with. It's okay to develop your own systems, your own style of living, your own style of doing. Things don't have to look a certain way. Things don't have to be a certain way. You just have to be and keep working towards what it is that you want to do. So, that being said, that change of mentality is important to that feeling of, oh, I have to work through this or I'm not going to be successful. That's not true. You can be successful with that. Just work with it. Like, use it to your advantage. View it as a superpower, not as a hindrance. Let me tune in and see if there's any last messages Archangel Orion has for us. Interesting. I'm seeing other planets. And I think, like, it's interesting because it's almost like I see you. That's so funny. So, like, my partner got Helldivers for me recently. It's a video game, and they're actually using Orion's using a symbol from this game for me, which is hilarious because he's showing me different planets. And it's almost like you're conquering a planet, and then you're moving on to the next one. So for whatever the case may be, so I must be talking to a few ADHD people, because there's this feeling of, like, we don't have one purpose in life. I will just, to the end of my days, I will stick with that. I've heard that from so many spiritual people, and I love that. I love that mentality, because we're not meant to do, and some people say we don't even have purpose at all. It's literally just to be happy and just to follow our inspirations and our creativities. But what I would say is that, right now it's spiritual for me. Later, I know it's going to be something else. It's going to change. Like, right now, it is what it is, and spiritual is something for me that's never going away. But your purpose doesn't always have to correlate with your career. But there's a feeling of, like, okay, well, if I'm very much into plants right now, that might not be my focus later. And I know it's definitely shifted focus a little bit since then. And I still have all of my plants. I still love my plants. But for a while, my main purpose was getting into plant care and loving up on plants and being like, okay, well, now I'm going to have a plant store. Like, and I did kind of have a little side hustle going with plants for a little bit, because I just had that many and I was growing that much. But it's just something to keep in mind that, like, following your passions and allowing them to stay, like I always say, and I'm pretty sure it's an ADHD thing of having, like, oh, like, there's not enough time in the day to accommodate all 56 of my hobbies. Like, it's just not happening. It can't happen. It's just not physically possible. But if we were Superwoman and, if we were Superman and, we could do it all, then we would, So, there's that feeling of, like, okay, once I've mastered this thing, I'm moving on to the next. I see this for some of you in the form of travel. Like, I want to hit all of the countries, or I want to hit a lot of different traveling things. I see that being a part of your dreams. For others, it's not only travel, but like achieving different skill sets, or like, I don't know, I'm feeling big Sagittarius energy in terms of travel, philosophy, like Sagittarius ninth house type of energy of like, you know, I have goals and ambitions and I'm moving towards, like, I'm exploring, I'm going like these long distances, I'm going to travel, I'm going to get like that higher education on, and I'm going to be studying astrology, I'm going to be studying this metaphysical thing. I see some of you actually getting interested in those metaphysical colleges out in Europe. Specifically, I think England has quite a few, but that is coming to mind as being like a goal for some of you, or at least taking classes, like online classes from where you're at now. I see aromatherapy, I see herbology, I see so much stuff that you guys are trying to study. Some of you are just hardcore going into like the spiritual sphere, and you're like, I want to study everything about it. For some of you, it doesn't necessarily have to be spiritual. It can be other things that you want to study. You might have multiple interests. Like I'm feeling like languages and art with painting. I'm seeing like pottery for some of you. Like I'm getting like a lot of jumping around. But it's almost like you're getting immersed into one thing, you're mastering it, and then you're moving on. And then you're going to master that next thing, and then you're going to move on. And that's kind of the steps that I see for you that Archangel Orion is showing me. But that's like an amazing way to live. Like that sounds like a dream come true for me. Like holy cow. And it's like you're being successful everywhere you go. And it's almost like you're getting to that point where you're like along your journey, you're not afraid to start over. You're not afraid to try again. You're not afraid to try something new because you've done it so much already. And if you're not at that point already, you will be at that point very soon. Of as soon as you master this one thing, you're jumping to the next, and you are not afraid to jump in and start. Like, I don't know, I'm getting like an entrepreneur who starts like multiple businesses, and it's almost like, okay, I mastered this. All right, I'm leaving this business. Bye. I'm going to go start this other thing. And it's almost like you're so good, like you have all these skills that you've learned from like the first few times, or like from all of your studies of trying to start a business, that you are applying them as you keep going. It's almost like all of your skills kind of fold in on themselves, and they're so easily applicable to other things. So I see you doing incredibly well. All of this dog fur is getting in my coffee. Oh, no. Well, no, there's just dog fur flying around, just not in my coffee yet. Whoo! Lord have mercy. Okay. All right. But yeah, he was showing me multiple planets. I was like, I think that's really cool. That's a really cool channel. I really like that a lot. Is there anything else? So I see him kind of fading off into the light a little bit, like he's heading back towards that golden light, which signals to me that the message is done. So I guess that closes out the message. So thank you, Archangel Orion, for helping me connect with the collective. Thank you so much for being here and tuning in. I really appreciate it. If this resonates with you in any way, go ahead, like and subscribe and all the things. That way you can keep up to date with what I'm doing. Keep in touch if you are in the Pittsburgh area in Pennsylvania. That's where I am. That's where I'm doing events, pop-ups all over the place. I do have a website launching very soon, and I also will have a newsletter with that, so that, you know, every time I send out every time I have an event, I'll be updating it on the newsletter. So, yeah, I don't know. Lots of new things coming. We do have the full moon coming up soon, which I'm very excited about. So I will be posting zodiac signs for the full moon coming up here shortly in a few days. I think I'll have to double check. I think it's in 5 days on the 25th. At the time I'm recording this, it's March 20th. And I think the full moon is coming up on the 25th. So that being said, hi, Milo. Milo. I love you, guys, and I will catch you next time. Bye.